Well, I'm back. It's been over a couple of weeks. Had an exam and now I don't. Yes, we are indeed going to be talking about this Shakespearean tale of joy and sorrow. If Shakespeare was 7, accidentally consumed class A narcotics and wrote his works with a half-eaten crayon. Rent a girlfriend. Now don't get me wrong, there are a lot of great things about this series, such as, most of the female characters are likable, and yeah, I got nothing else to say, honestly. Aside from this one arc in the manga, which we will be talking about here. Of course, there will be spoilers for the manga, but trust me, don't bother trying to avoid spoilers, it's not worth the effort. Just let me spoil you. That sounded wrong, but trust me, I'm doing you a favor. Now how about you do me a favor by liking and subscribing? Do it. Do it. Do it now. Let's get a few things straight before we get into the meat of the matter. Rent a Girlfriend is a very short-sighted series. The concept itself would quickly run its course within a few episodes, and the show has nothing else going on for it. This is one of the biggest factors that doomed this series from the start. There also happens to be a group of people who are of the opinion that Mami is a well-written antagonist. I do genuinely feel sorry for all of you. Just how far do you have to fall just to try and be different? How is Mami well-written? Do you know about her motivation? Do you know about her past? Do you fully understand her personality? Do you know anything about her? No? Then how is she well written? Do you even know what well written means? She's barely written to begin with. Anyway, the point is, it's not like the series was good when it started and then it dipped in quality. It was always quite bad. But this one arc in the manga was essentially a beacon of hope. The movie arc. I mean, the official name is something else, but I like to call it the movie arc. Starting somewhere in the manga, and I'm not going back to that septic tank to find out where, and ending around the chapter 150-ish point. Let me give you a brief summary. Mizuhara works in her profession as a way to make some money and also to get some acting experience on her path to eventually becoming an actress. And she wants her grandmother, who's hospitalized, to see her make it to the big screen before she passes away. I don't remember every fine detail, but I believe her grandmother's condition worsened, so Mizuhara had to try and rush to land an acting gig to show her, but can't seem to land one. That's when our protagonist, the epitome of maidenless and incel behavior, steps up for once in his life and tries to direct his own crowdfunded movies starring Mizuhara. No point in going into the fine details of the process, but he eventually succeeds. And throughout the course of this arc, he acts more responsibly and more confidently than he ever has. Despite me going into spoilers, I won't spoil the outcome of the arc, but know that Mizuhara comes out of it with newfound determination to pursue a career in acting. And it's mostly thanks to Kazuya. Now you may be thinking, this isn't exactly a Shakespearean tale, but it seems way too well thought out for a series like Rent a Goddamn Girlfriend. And that's exactly what I and many more readers thought. When you introduce a character, especially a protagonist who makes the audience feel second-hand embarrassment and a sensory overload of cringe, throughout the story, said protagonist should get less and less embarrassing to watch and should eventually become someone you as the audience can root for. That's what character growth and development means. And this arc seemed to be doing just that. Kazuya finally seemed like he was showing growth. And what do you think happened next? I'll give you 4 options. Option 1, Kazuya continues this growth of his, matures enough to not rent girlfriends and decides to not be an embarrassment to the human species anymore. Option 2, the series ends at this point and the confession happens now instead of milking it for another 100 chapters. Option 3, somebody launches a tactical nuke at the mangaka's office, when he's not there of course, burning down all his materials and forcing the series to discontinue. And option 4, Kazuya goes right back to his previous incel self, try saying that 10 times fast, completely undoing the growth, development and confidence he gained in the previous arc and somehow turns even more embarrassing. Well, you've read the title of the video, and this is where I gave up. Although I read a good few chapters after this, but sweet Jesus. You'd think the movie arc never happened with the way he acts afterwards. I had to go back and check if it was an actual arc or if I was having a fever dream. Why? And we haven't even gotten to the infamous chapter 218 yet. We'll get to it. But it's painful at this point. It was even more painful because I had already seen the series get good for some chapters, which made the dip so much worse. And around here is the point where I believe the mangaka completely lost his mind. I hate taking shots at the actual people instead of their work, but just look up the man's Twitter antics. I won't go into them, but look them up. Chapter 218. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy. The background or anything leading up to this is irrelevant, but near the end of the chapter, I got this. Kazuya imagines other guys doing Mizuhara and gets an erection from it. I am not making this up, I wish I was. And yeah, at this point I stopped. I finally came upon the realization that this series is not even a story. It's the ramblings of the clinically insane. Who would even come up with this, and why? Why? Why are you doing this to me? And yeah, I stopped reading and I don't plan to resume ever again. At this point, I believe Mizuhara is seeing Kazuya's face on a carrot or something like that, based on a panel I stumbled upon. I don't know what is happening in that mental asylum, and I don't want to know. Somewhere somebody is either taking medication they shouldn't be taking or not taking the medication that they should be, and it shows. I won't sit here and pretend like this series had some incredible potential or extremely well written characters that got ruined by these developments. Even on its best day, it would only be slightly better than mediocre. But it didn't need to be this bad. It could have just been an inoffensive rom-com with a stupid gimmick and we'd all move on. But nope, it just had to go into the I can't believe a human being came up with something so foolish and bizarre territory. I would sell both of my kidneys to forget that this series ever existed. Jesus. To answer the title, Rent-A-Girlfriend went off the rails the moment the author decided to forego development altogether and start using his characters as these weird fetish objects. It also went off the rails when the author decided to continue milking the series and not ending it with the movie arc. And needless to say, it was already doomed from the start when it had nothing to offer besides the eye-catching premise. Look at Bunny Girl Senpai. It has a ridiculous name, but it has so much more character work and entertainment to offer after you have seen your share of the senpai wearing a bunny girl outfit. The outfit didn't even matter. It was just an eye-catching title, while the actual series was something completely different. Rent-A-Girlfriend was just that. That was the concept. That's all the show had to offer. No wonder it started off mediocre, and at this point it's something negative adjectives can't even begin to describe. So that was it. What do you think of the series? Do you hate it? Make sure to comment down below. Do you like it? Make sure to seek professional psychological help. It will be alright. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and until next time.